Hey, my name is Ivan Alexiev. I'm one of the designers on Siege Perilous, and today I'm going to be showing you the solo mode. This is the solo mode just simulating a competitive game. It's not a scenario, so there's no stories, but we will have foreign campaigns and Merlins show up as we play. I'm playing as Sir Morian, and Dame Britomart is going to be controlled by the automa. So we can go ahead and start. The automa will take the first turn, and it is controlled by this deck, where on the first turn we're going to draw 2 cards, and those cards are going to tell us what they do. So the automa will first go to the market in Camel Yard, so that is over here. It's a fame market, and as we can see, their actions are a little bit simplified. So at a market, they just gain 2 of that resource. So they're going to gain 2 fame. And then they're going to visit the court castle in Cornwall. So the way that that works for them is they draw a courtier, and they only gain the coins or fame on that courtier. So in this case, they're going to gain 3 coins, and that card, we won't be needing that card anymore. Then at the end of their turn, so in this case, they ended their turn in Cornwall, so let's move them to Cornwall. If there is a contest site, they will go and trigger that contest site. And if they've maxed out any of their resources, in this case they have maxed out their coins, they will do the action that it tells them to do. So in this case, they have 5 coins, so they're going to spend those 5 coins and generate 1 skill point for end of game scoring. Then it's our turn. We play as we would in a competitive game. So we have the Bridal Thief, which requires us to have 3 or more horse. We can go for that quest, or something I like to do sometimes is start by visiting Camelot and gaining a second quest. So let's see what it is. So we've got the Red Knight. It requires us to go to Cornwall, have 3 or more combat and a horse, so we already have a horse. And then it's going to be testing our fidelity, which is pretty good for us because we start with high fidelity. So that can give us a little bit of a decision space, and so we want to get our horse up and we want to get our combat up. I think a good thing for us to do as a second action would be to move to North Lowgrace, and there we can visit the fountain, which will get us a resource of our choice. Because we have this Frisian, I think it's a pretty good idea to have spurs because it has a very powerful action, which is we can use an anvil or higher and discard a spur to roll 4 skill dice, which is great. That's the end of our turn. We move the round tracker forward, and that shows us that we're going to draw a foreign campaign. In this case, it's the Giant's Ire. So across the Irish Sea, the tyrannical giant Gran Torto has claimed dominion over Lady Irina's realm. Who will cross the sea to liberate the land from the giant's tyranny? So it's going to test combat and justice, which is good for us because we're about to get our combat up. But before we do anything, it is the automa's turn, and the automa will go to Sorgales and interact with the foreign campaign. So at foreign campaigns, it is just going to place one of its crests at the topmost reward and gain any resources it can. So in this case, it'll gain 1 fame. And it's also going to place one of its crests on the quest that it has. It's always going to have at least 1 quest. And when it finishes it, it's going to gain the rewards. So the second action is in Norgales. It will visit the castle over here. And just like in the courtier castle, it draws a knight, and it's only going to take fame from it. In this case, actually, we're very lucky in that it's maxed out its fame. It's not going to gain any of that fame, but at the end of its turn, it will turn in that fame for a virtue point. And then it ends its turn over here in Norgales, where it's going to gain 1 coin and 1 blessing. And I just realized we forgot to take its resources. It's going to take that spur. The fame it's not going to take because it was already maxed out. So it is our turn again. And what we want to do is we want to get our combat up. and that is going to cost us 2 fame to do at the training site. Moves our combat up, and it gives us a coat of arms in the, wrong track, in the skill track. We have one more action, and we do have all of the requirements to do this quest, for which we need to get to Cornwall. Or it might be a good idea for us to gain some more coins and increase our fidelity even more, so we don't need to spend as many blessings or wisdom when we do it. And we're very near the Fidelity Church. So I think what we want to do is gain coins, and one way that we can do that is we can spend a spur, move into Northumberland, and visit this politic castle, where we're going to draw a courtier, and then we're going to test our horse and our court. So we got Lady Elaine of Corbinick, and our horse is 2, our court is 1, so we're going to roll 3 dice. And she is quite an easy courtier. Yep, looks like we can just do it in one go, but she doesn't give us that much. She's going to give us 1 coin. But since we did all 3 of these, she comes with us. And we could draw another courtier if we choose to, but we'll only be using leftover dice, of which we don't have any. So I'm going to stop there. And she's a villain. So villains, you can turn them in to the dungeons. So there's 2 dungeons, one for knight villains and one for courtier villains. So if we go to East Logres, we can turn her in, and she will get our nature up, and she will get us a point if we do so. But seeing as that was the end of our action, we can either go to the Forest Sauvage, or we can generate some fame, and right now I think I prefer generating some fame. Okay, it is the Automa's turn. We forgot to generate resources there. And also, it is a new round, so we're going to draw Merlin. A ship of Solomon in Norgales. So locals report a mysterious ship floating on the Irish Sea. Merlin believes it to be a fabled ship of Solomon and is keen to investigate, though he shan't be pulling any oars himself. Is there one capable of navigating the waters and worthy of boarding a vessel of Jedediah? So this will be testing our nature and our justice, and it is over here in Norgales. So the automa gains the resources, and it draws a card which says they're going to visit the market in South Logres, which is a coin market, which gains them 2 coins. And they will visit Camelot. Now Camelot for them works a little bit differently. It just means they're going to place 2 cubes on a quest, 2 coats of arms. They used to be cubes in an old prototype. And when they finish a quest, 2 things happen. They immediately draw a new quest, so they always have at least 1 quest available, and then they're either going to gain the divine or the earthly reward, and it's based on how many points they have. So they're going to want to get a point to finish, or if they have more skill points, they're going to want a virtue point, and the other way around. Since they have 1 of each, then we are going to just look at the possible increases. So they're on 2 court and they're on 1 justice. So they will want the one that's higher to go up even higher, which means they get to place a coat of arms over here. Because they increased their court, they're taking the earthly reward, and they're going to take 2 skill points. Okay, so this quest is finished for them. They don't really have a legacy, it's just discarded, and we can take back these crests there. And that was their Camelot action, and because they're finishing their turn over here, they're going to generate some resources, and the resources generated are just the ones that they have the most of is what they want. So they're going to generate 2 coins. If there were multiples tied, like if it was between blessings and spurs, they're going to look at the resources here for tiebreak. So they generate 2 coins, and that is the end of their turn. So it's our turn, we get the 2 fame, and I kind of want to fight the automa, and I think that's not too bad of an idea because I also kind of want to do the foreign campaign. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's go ahead and I will. Do I want to get my nature up? What is the requirement here? I do want to get my justice up. So we could move to East Logres, get our justice up, and then move into South Logres and fight the automa. So let's do that. So we move to East Logres, we visit the church where we're going to spend 2 coins to increase our justice, and that unlocks a new ability for us using candles, but also it allows us to place one of our coats of arms here on this track. And then we are going to spend 1 spur to move down into South Logres. And as that was our second action, we are going to now challenge Dame Britomart for her coins. And when you challenge in this tournament site specifically, or in this contest site, you can choose what you're challenging them to. So I see that she has very little justice, and I have quite a bit of justice. So I'm going to go ahead and roll my justice. Alright, so I've got 2 grails and 1 candle. Let's go ahead and use the candle to roll another 2 dice with our fidelity ability. We've got 3 successes, 3 grails. She is going to gain the, as a defender, she is going to get tiebreak. And also, she can spend these blessings in wisdom, which I'll show in a moment how that works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend a blessing to make this into a candle, and then I'm going to use that candle to roll a wisdom die. Alright, so we've got 4 grails. I'd like to guarantee it, so let's roll. Okay, well, we have an anvil / grail. We don't want to use our horse. This isn't going to do anything for us. So we're going to stop there. We're at 4 grails. She will roll 1 die. That's 2 successes. Doesn't look too good for us. Then we're going to draw the top card. And at the top, you'll see this icon, which shows contest sites, and a number of swords / grails. Now, they don't automatically just add them, but what they're going to do is, if they have the blessings, they will spend those blessings and wisdom dice to get to that reward. So, in this case, she will spend all 3 of her blessings to get another 3 grails, and she has 5, we have 4, so they win this contest, so they get to keep their spot there, and we'll place a coat of arms here in this virtue track. Alright, so that is the end of the round. We move forward to round 4, and it is the automa's turn. So the automa draws a card. They'll visit the market in West Logres. So that is a fame market, and they gain 2 fame. Oh, they also gain the coins that we tried to steal from them, which they only have space for the 1 coin. And then in Northumberland, they will visit the Politic Castle. So they draw, and they'll be gaining 3 coins again. They're maxed out, so they're not going to gain those coins this turn, but they will move into Northumberland, which is here, and they will generate 2 fame. Okay, end of turn, they're going to spend their coins and gain a skill point. And this card moves here. It is our turn. So, we don't get anything at the beginning of our turn because we didn't get the contest site. But we can go on this foreign campaign, which is neat. And using that foreign campaign site, we can get to any of the other ports. Let's have a look at where we want to be. So this Cornwall was one option that we were thinking about. We don't have wisdom dice or blessings. We just kind of spent them kind of foolishly. So I don't think that's what we want to do. Norgales, we need to get our horse up in order for us to be successful there. I think what I may want to do is just go up into Reged and train my horse. So we spend 2 fame, we increase our horse, and we place another coat of arms here on the Arthur track. Then end of turn, we're going to generate 2 blessings. And it is the automa's turn. So, first they're going to go to the training site in Camel Yard, which is the court site. They just increase their court and gain the reward. Then they will go to the church in East Logres. Oh, also they should have gained that 2 fame. The church in East Logres is going to increase their justice by 1, and they do gain 1 more fame. So end of turn, they will generate these resources, and they will spend the fame they have to gain 1 virtue point. They're doing very, very well, despite several times not gaining the coins that they would have gained. Alright, my turn. I gain my 2 blessings, and I do want to turn in Lady Elaine at some point. But first, I think what I want to do is I want to do my quest. I'm also feeling very poor, resource poor, but I have my 2 blessings, so I think I'm just going to go and do my quest in Norgale. So I move as my first action, and as my second action, I attempt my quest, for which I roll these 3 virtue dice. And we've got it. Yep. Starting quest is done. So now we get to choose the reward. We can gain a wisdom, or we can gain a divine reward or an earthly reward. In this case, Merlin is here and he wants nature. So I'm going to go ahead and gain that earthly reward, which gains me 1 nature, which is going to place a crest over here. And also, I get to place another coat of arms. I keep calling them crests. I know that's not what we're going to be calling them. And 1 skill point. All right, my first skill point. Perfect, but also this is going to trigger the title reward here. So, because we have more coats of arms, what's going to happen is we're going to draw 2 titles, and one of them is going to come with 2 skill points, the other with 1. And we get first choice, and whatever we choose, we get the 2 skill points. Whatever's left over is for the automa. It won't actually be scoring them at the end, but we get to choose. So we are gonna get 1 point for each skill, which we have 5 or more in. That's pretty tough, but we have 2 skills that are at 3, or we can get 2 points if we have the most coins. So that's hoarding coins. Which one do we want? Let's go for the skills. We're gonna try getting our skills up higher, and we get 2 silver points. The automa gets this title. For it, titles are just worth 1 victory point of that type each. And that was our quest done. So it goes into our legacy, and we still have this other quest, and now we have this title. So we want to get our horse and our nature and our combat up if possible. But that was our second action. So do we want to generate some resources? Yes, we do, because we don't have a spur to go into the Forest Sauvage. All right. So we've generated the resources, and it is a new round, and a new foreign campaign will come up. This Holy Sepulchre, which tests our faith and our horse, which we're not really good at faith, so I'm not too interested in that. But it is the automa's turn. The automa will take this fame and this blessing and draw a new card. So first they will go to the church in Reged. Reged is the Church of Fidelity, So they gain 1 fidelity, and that allows them to place one of their coats of arms here. And second, they are going to go to the castle in East Logres. East Logres is where they are, so it's this castle, and they draw a knight and just gain fame. They gain 2 fame, and they are going to generate a fame and a blessing over there. Okay, it is our turn. We gain our coin, we gain our blessing, and we need to decide what we're going to do. So we have a lot of blessings, we don't have a wisdom, we have a coin. We could go and impress Merlin, because we have 3 dice in each, and we have quite a few abilities. Our horse, unfortunately, isn't going to be doing much for us, so I don't think we can really gain that top reward, but we're pretty likely to gain the bottom reward because of these 2 abilities that we have. So maybe what we're going to do is first we're going to challenge a knight to combat in horse, which is great, and then we're going to go and see Merlin. So we challenge a knight. It is Sir Agravain, and we are going to be rolling 6 dice because we're challenging him using a combat and horse. And we have 3 in each. Let's see if we can get this in one shot. Yes, yes we can. And now, I think I may have told you earlier, at these castles, what you can choose to do is kind of push your luck and draw a second knight, but you'll only be using the dice that you have left over, which is fine by me because we rolled very well. Alright, so we got Sir Kay of Seneschal. Expect a lot of mispronunciations from me in this playthrough, and we absolutely do defeat him as well. So, now we're going to gain 4 fame, which is great, and then we can take both of them with us, but we only have space for one of them. We can get rid of Elaine if we want, and I think Sir Agravain is a better version of Elaine, because he's going to give us a nature, but also he's going to give us a spur. That being said, she gives us a virtue point, which we currently don't have much of. I am going to go ahead and get Sir Kay. And I'm just going to discard Sir Agravain. I'm sorry. And that was our first action. Our second action is going to be Merlin. So, in Merlin, we roll our nature and our justice. So that's, again, we have 3 in each. Okay, that is not the best roll. But we can use this candle to roll another 2 dice. And we can use this candle to roll a wisdom die. And here is where I think we just lost both of these actions. Can we get to 5 swords? Nope, we rolled about as badly as we could roll. Because even if we spend our 3 blessings, that'll only get us to 3 swords. I think my good luck from the castle depleted my luck in this case. So we don't get either of these, and we just gain a wound and a dishonor for having lost, or for having not filled either of these, which we'll want to get rid of at some point. But that was the end of our action, so again, we're going to stop here and generate a coin and a blessing. Alright, that is the end of the round, and actually Merlin goes away. He's very disappointed because nobody was able to take him to that ship. And Dame Britomart is going to take 1 fame and 1 blessing. Alright, then she draws a card. She'll visit the training tower in Camel Yard, which is going to increase her court by 1, which gains us yet another skill point. And then she will visit the market in South Logres, where she's going to end her turn, where she will gain 2 coins. and she will generate resources. In this case, she wants fame the most, so she'll generate 2 fame and end her turn there. All right, my turn. I gain my coin, I gain my blessing. Merlin is no longer here with us, unfortunately, but I have this quest in Cornwall. I have a bonus die in South Logres if I want to challenge Dame Britomart again, and I'll gain a skill point from it. Or if I end my turn in East Logres, I can do an end of turn action, which will, which is quite good for me because it will get Lady Corbinic in the castle, in the dungeon. So I think that's not a bad idea. I have the coins, and the coins will allow me to increase my justice even more. If I can increase my nature on the way. No, my nature is all the way up there. Alright, I think what I'll do is I will move to East Logres and visit the church. And at the church, I'm going to spend 2 coins to increase my justice. And my justice is going to allow me to place a coat of arms up here. And end of turn, I will go into the dungeon and turn in Lady Elaine, who gives me 1 virtue point, first virtue, and she gives me 1 nature increase, which allows me to place 1 more. Oh, I forgot to clean these up. 1 more coat of arms here. And that is the end of my turn. So it is a new round, and it's the final round. So this is the last turn. They gain the 2 fame, so they will be gaining 1 virtue point from this, and then they draw. So there is no Merlin, so they just do the next available action. In this case, Reged is one that is also being pointed to, so they're just going to do a politic castle in Northumberland, which gains them 3 coins. Oh no. We got pretty unlucky here. And then the church in Reged over here, so they're going to increase their fidelity, which places a coat of arms in the track. And end of turn, they generate the blessings. Alright, but this will trigger a fight, or not a fight, titles. So what happens is they're just going to gain 1 random 1 and 2 virtue points. And I get the leftovers, which is I'm going to gain 2 virtue points if I have the most fame. Those are basically guaranteed, and we're going to gain 1 virtue point immediately. So that was this track. And I gain my coats of arms back, and it is my final turn. I feel like if I can get... I mean, that would be nice to have. Oh, also, they have 2 of these actions that they can do because they're maxed out on fame and coins. So that means they are going to gain 1 of each point. And it is my turn. If I go... Let's see here. Sir K, using Sir K would be good. How am I doing on horse and faith? Not very good. So I don't want to go for that foreign campaign. I'd very much like to increase my nature though. And one way to do that would be 1, 2, 3. I can't actually reach Orkney. And I don't have spurs. This is a very bad game for me. I could fight Dame Britomart here. What is it? It's faith. She has 2, I have 1. I have a bunch of blessings, but I don't have the spur that I really need. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into Reged, and then I'm gonna spend 2 fame to increase my horse. And also, I'm gonna spend 2 fame. No, hang on. I'm not gonna be increasing my horse. Alright, I'm gonna spend 2 fame to get rid of this blessing and dishonor, because I don't want to have them at end of game. And then I will fight Dame Britomart on Faith. And Faith is... I roll just the 1 die. Oh, it's a crit. Which is great, but also I kind of wanted to do this. Do I think I could do better? I've got so many blessings, I feel like I should. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and use my crit to roll another 2 dice. And let's not be blanks. Okay, then I'm gonna go ahead and use this die to roll a wisdom. And that gets me 1, and then I spend 1 on here to make this into a crit, and 3 to make this blank into a crit as well. So I have 4 successes. And Dame Britomart will draw a card. Well, first she's going to roll 2 virtue dice, and then draw a card to see if she's going to be using any blessings on them. So she draws. That's 2 blessings that she can use. So 2 blessings gives her another 2 swords, which is 2 versus 4. I win this this time. And I take over, which means I'm going to place a coat of arms here on this track. And that is actually very lucky, because at the end of the game, these tracks do trigger again, and I have just 1 in each. So Dame Britomart won't be gaining those points. I think I may have stolen this from her. Alright, so end of game. These tracks trigger one final time. I have 1 coat of arms in each, so I will gain both of the best rewards. Let's go ahead and grab these skill points. Alright, so each magic item, I don't have any. I didn't go to either of these, so whichever one I take, that's a 0, but it comes with those 2 virtue points. And then for every 3 commodities, I only have the 1, and every set of blessings and coins, again, both of these are 0s for me, but I will take those points. Now, she would have gotten points if she had at least 1 coat of arms here, but she did not. So, end of game scoring. Each of these is just worth 1 point for her, so she will gain a virtue and a skill, so that she has 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 19, 20 points. And I have, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12, 13. That doesn't look too good for me. And let's have a look. I wasn't actually able to do any of these, but I do have this one done because I have more fame than her. So that is 2 virtue points. So what's that? 15, 16. And yep, none of these give me points. 20 versus 16. She absolutely wins in this case. But that was a little example of the solo mode. There may be some changes before the campaign is done or in the final game, but hopefully that gives you a good sort of taste of how it works. And you can also play with multiple automas if you wish, or you can use the automa as a 3rd player in a 2-player game. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.